Here's my puppy. Help me speak. Say hello to the camera. Hello YouTube, how are you going? Sam here, this is Xena. Got a guest star today. Xena the puppy. She'll be with me while we talk. What are we going to talk about, mate? Well, first of all, we're going to say to all you people, the ones that aren't feeling so good today, you know I cheer you up, right? That's why you tune in. Because, what do I say? Put a smile on your face. Fake it till you make it. Because you know why I've told you how it works? Because it fucking works. If you fake a smile, your brain sees it as effort to make yourself feel better, right? And guess what happens when you do that? You feel better. Like I said in my last video. And that's why faking it till you make it works, because it tricks your brain into thinking it's the truth. Okay, because truth is what it's all about, mate. My last video was about Jesus and truth. This video is going to be about me and my own views on the whole thing. And I value truth at the top of the fucking pile. You know why? Because I struggled for many years trying to have faith to be a Christian. I wanted to be a Christian. I want to believe in God. But you know what stops me? I can't do faith because I value truth too much. And if you value truth, you've got to admit that you don't know. And you can't make that jump to believing in something you don't know. It's just because then you're betraying truth. You see what I'm saying? So if you value the truth, and which is what I have, to me, I have a moral duty to do that, and it's inbuilt in me, and I feel that I'm betrayed that if I go against it. And I struggled with that for years. I didn't understand why I couldn't do the faith thing. I tried for so long. I even went to church for fucking every Sunday for ages, and really tried to fully believe, you know, to make that jump into faith. This doesn't mean that I don't think that it could be true. So I still have that open. So I still believe that Jesus was real. When I look back at the history and read the books and stuff, and I still think the Bible is awesome. What I actually believe, well, at the moment, because I haven't done any more, I haven't actually done any serious research. I just trust the people that I believe have the most knowledge, right? So I read the stuff from the people I believe have done the most work in research, and intelligent people who've worked it all out, and then I listen to what they say, and I listen to other people who disagree with them, and then I try and work out what I think between the two of them, right? So that's how I get my fucking knowledge from. So I'm second-hand professional. I'm not a professional at all, but I'm smart enough to understand professionals when they speak clearly. If you spend time listening. And guess what happens if your attention span can't handle too long? You just stop it and restart it. And then rewind it and listen to it again. And keep going over it until you fucking understand it, right? And it's about understanding it, not memorizing it, kids. And so I make an effort to do that. I try and learn something new every day. And at the moment, doing these videos, the ones on psychology, I learn heaps, man. Those psychology ones, I'm learning a lot from Carl Jung. Carl Jung, he's fucking awesome, isn't he? Yeah, I've got a revival like for him. He's my hero at the moment. Carl Jung is a freaking genius. He's like higher to me. He's more in my book than Einstein. You know, I think I'm a psychologist at heart. Maybe I was a psychologist in a different life, but I'm really interested in psychology. I'm very interested in the defects of the human, because I know we all have one. And another thing I'm very interested in, because I'm interested in truth, I value truth because I think that truth is the most valuable thing there is, because it's the closest thing we've got to understanding reality is by understanding truth. And sometimes truth is hard, but when you can really understand truth, it seems to work out with every other thing there is. Because if you can understand truth and value truth, then you can discern right from wrong, and what's right and what's wrong, and things you're reading, and what's more likely to be the correct thing, and from there you can make informed decisions on your own opinion, whether you go this way or that way. And it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means that you have so for me, it's more right if it's aligned with truth. But some people might not value truth as much as me, and that to me, that's because they have not discerned the quality of what the possibilities they've got on option, and chosen the right one. So they've chosen something simpler and more aligned to their personal taste, whereas I've forced myself to be interested in something that I value highly, not because I like it, but because I think it's important. And so it's another thing I've done like that is trust my gut, my instinct. I'm not a hard science sort of guy. I'm a pretty spiritual based guy. Just because I can't do faith doesn't mean I'm not a spiritual person. I'm very spiritual. Just because I don't go to church or do bloody yoga and stuff and sit like a yogi and for all day trying to meditate and get into a transcendental state and have a kundalini, doesn't mean I'm not a spiritual person. Okay. It takes all types, right? I'm a truth seeker, and that doesn't mean I believe in conspiracies. I'm not that kind of truth seeker. I'm a truth seeker who understands the earth is not flat, okay? I'm not going to waste my time even thinking about that, because, mate, it's so fucking obvious. It's stupid. There's so many ridiculous things these days. And it's like people argue about it. To me, it's insane. The most insane thing in the world is Donald Trump, and to me, he's like a freaking a logo of how ridiculous the world is. It's like only a ridiculous world can have Donald Trump as president of the United States. It's like just take a look at the President of the United States to get an idea of what condition the world is in, right? And I mean, I'm sure you would agree that when he first came to power the first term those years ago, wasn't it the most insane thing? Could you believe it? I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. It took me literally months to believe it. I thought everyone was playing a fucking trick on me, mate. Or on a lot of us. It's like, is the rest of the world tricking our country? But then I worked out that, other countries have been hoodwinked. No, it turns out to be true. It seems to be true. Wow. Maybe I thought I maybe transferred to a different reality. But no, it's this reality. And so it only gets more crazy from there. And you can't blame one thing or another. A lot of people do. They go, oh, no, it's TikTok. It all went nuts when TikTok came on board. No, it didn't. It's been slowly going nuts for you since the beginning of time, mate. It's all a continuum. Everything. That's it. Another thing I I'm very big on is continuums and spectrums. I think every single thing there is a spectrum. There's no beginning, there's no end. There's no fucking start, there's no finish. There's no black, there's no white, there's only shades. There's no end to the darkness. There's no beginning to the light. There's no start of time. There's no end of time. Everything is eternal. Everything is linear in a spectrum sense. In other words, if you look at it like that, then this is where truth comes into it. Because if you put truth into any analytical understanding, you're much more likely to get a more realistic conclusion. Okay? And you can only go to your own limits of your intelligence, right? So being more intelligent doesn't mean you're better than somebody who's less intelligent. Because let me tell you something. The difference between the smartest genius of human beings from the not so smartest at the other end of the spectrum is not as much as you might like to think. A lot of people think geniuses are like fucking special, really, really so intelligent. It's just they wouldn't have a hope in understanding a thing. They're just crazy little weird people who speak in 20 different languages at any one time and talk about bloody quantum this and quantum that and fucking they talk in terms that no one would have a hope of understanding. It's not like that, mate. Did you know that Albert Einstein who's valued as one of the most intelligent people of all time, he struggled trying to understand the quantum entanglement problem to do in juxtaposition with his own theories of relativity and special relativity, because it challenged his ideas and he couldn't work it out, and he called it spooky action at a distance, and it freaked him out, and he spent the last 40 years of his life trying to figure it out, and he died a frustrated, disgruntled, grumpy old man. Now, why would he waste a whole lot of time of his life doing something like that? I'll tell you why, because he's a flawed human being. He's not as smart as everyone thinks. He's smarter, maybe. I'm not trying to take it away from him. I'm just trying to say that the difference is not as much as you think, mate. We're all a big bunch of mutant fucking idiots who think we know more than we do. We don't know shit. We know how to use stuff. That's the other thing I wanted to touch on this talk it's a difficult topic because nobody ever wants to talk about it, but it has to be talked. It's always, the therapist will always tell you this. I mean, I've been reading about it from Carl Jung. It's the shadow side of human, okay? And inside the shadow side of human is all our flaws, all our darkness, all our things we don't want to look at, all our traumas from childhood, all our fucking idiosyncrasies that we don't believe we've got, all the things that others tell us or see in us and that we don't see. All the things that we need to face but don't. Most of us have become experts at burying the things we most need to look at. Right? All of us do it. And we all turn a blind eye to the fact that it needs to be pulled out and dealt with. But it never gets dealt with because we've become experts at not dealing with it. And there's a myriad of different methods to not dealing with our issues. We are experts at not dealing with our primary issues. And you know how we deal with our issues? We pull out something that doesn't need to be dealt with, and we deal with that, and then we satisfy our needs for dealing with our issues by by looking at something that's not even important to resolve. We create issues that we can face to replace the ones that need to be faced, okay? Because you know why? It's too scary. It's too hard. It's too dark. We don't want to think, we don't want to see the dark side of ourselves because we don't want to feel bad about ourselves, right? But the funny thing about that is, the more you don't deal with those things, the worse you feel about yourself. The only thing is, you don't tell yourself that, but deep down that's what's going on, and you know I'm right. But yet we still full face in the we look spite in the eye and call it fucking love. We change the things around to suit our needs, just so we can get through the day. All right? That's why drug addicts are drug addicts. That's why everybody has an escape. That's why, like my mum, she represents a lot of people. How she deals with life is by keeping busy. Huh? Click a bell. How many of you guys can relate to that, right? Just keep busy, keep busy, keep busy. As long as you're busy, you don't have to deal with nothing, because you just have to live life then. And it fools you into believing that you're dealing with life as best you can. Well, it's satisfactory. You can sleep well at night, right? How long do you reckon you can go on like that for, though? Well, my mum's 81, she's still going strong. And I've never met an old lady that's more afraid of facing her shadow side than her. She can't, as soon as I get even close to her vicinity, she gets nervous. Because I'm the sort of person who thinks deeply and asks deep questions. But you know what else I am? I'm very considerate. And I keep telling her, Mum, do you think I'm going to hurt you? I'm not going to even challenge. I know more than you think. I'm not going to push you into anything. I'm not even going to suggest what I believe because I don't want to even risk it. Because I know how much it freaks her out just to even think about it. It's like, don't you go there, Sam. I can't even mention a deep topic around here. It's got to be about bloody coffees and movies and plays and concerts and music and great TV shows and friends and family and all that, She loves being a grandma. She's a loving, beautiful woman with lots of friends and very, very, very social. And I'd say the majority of middle-class people in New Zealand are like her. They've learned to have a life, they call it. And that means doing everything under the sun except for examining the deep questions of existence, which they find themselves in with certain issues that are within their shadow side, which they have never even looked at. And there must be a reason why Carl Jung says it's important. There must be a reason why counsellors and all that that's what they do, isn't it? When you go to counselling or see a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a fucking social worker, that's what they do, isn't it? They all talk, they'll try and work out a way of facing your fears, right? Facing your issues. Let's see if we can dig out your traumas from childhood and then face them. eh? And we're not going to make it, we're not going to push it just at your own time, they say. But it's always that, isn't it? Okay? I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying that it's important. It must be important. Because my gut's telling me it seems to be the main thing for these professionals to help people with issues, because I don't know how well these people fare in truth. It's all a mask, you see. Everyone puts on a mask. So with my mum, my example before, she puts on a mask every day. She gets up, puts on a mask. And she's got so good at wearing that mask, and that mask is fucking moving around all the time, on the move, on the go. And whenever she's short of something to do, she goes away heaps. She goes and stays in places and goes away, on planes and cars and boats and fucking batches and shit. And she organises it with other people who have the same adversity to existential angst as she does, and also have chosen the route to keep busy, which seems to be the most common one, the one that everyone can handle people doing. It's quite acceptable, for people to do that. It's not considered a problem. It's not considered an escape. It's considered a life when you do that, right? So they've even labelled it safe. What I'm trying to say is that all of these things are just excuses, and it might seem harmless, but maybe they'll get away with it, right? They might live quite a happy life, comparatively speaking, right? But the big picture is how I look at stuff, and in the big picture, issues need to be solved, right? And there's not enough people trying to work out how to solve them. Why? Because they're fucking difficult. Even more why? Because it hurts. It's disturbing, right? It's disturbing to think about it, let alone look at it and get involved in it. It takes special people to do that, right? But what I'm suggesting is we all need to learn how to do it a little bit, and at least with our own stuff. And then we'd have a little bit of empathy for it, and then we wouldn't be so averse to it. My mum might be gracious enough to let me talk about a deep thing around her. My mum might be gracious enough one day to, in a future world, or I'm just saying her as an example, but people like her might be gracious enough to let people like me explore a topic of deepness around her because they trust me enough to know that I'm not going to put them on the spot and make them think about something hard for them. I'm going to ask them to use empathy for their input of someone else's issues. At least it breaks the ice a little bit, you see what I mean? So if we can all do a little bit that doesn't hurt, just a little bit, But people, I do my bit. I give some money to charity. That's another escape. That's another form of sort of like escaping the buck kind of thing. There's just so many of them, and it's such a deep. I mean, I'm not explaining myself very well, but I know I'm touching. I might be triggering ideas in you guys, right? I'm sort of correct, right? There's truths in what I'm saying here. There's some fucking valid points I'm vaguely making. I haven't prepared for this video. This is off the top of my head, okay? It's just what I've been thinking about the last few days, weeks, months, years, sort of in the background. And I've been very frustrated with the world and life, as everybody has, surely. Fuck, how can anyone be fucking at peace with the world as it is right now? And yet everybody still just carries on like usual, don't they? And it's so fucked up that people look at all those young protesters who are protesting in favour of Palestine, and then they think Israel's the big bad bully, right? Yeah, like middle class white people who are just so ignorant, protesting about Israel being, killing fucking innocent Palestinians. Do you know what? Have you heard about that video that's called the October 7th Hamas horror fucking massacre? It's a 47-minute video of just pure horror of that day when Hamas went into Israel and attacked Israel. This is what sparked this fucking latest war part of it. And if you've seen that video, mate, you will understand why Israel has been so hard-hitting. Because it's not about the numbers or fairness or anything. It's purely about how evil the Hamas would, as they were doing what they were doing. You don't see fucking Israeli soldiers having glee and enjoying their fucking mission while they don't aim to fucking kill, mate. They just want to fucking, they say, we're going to drop a bomb here, please get out of the way, we don't want to hurt anyone. They give people time. Do you realise that? Hamas don't. They go in there and they try and do a gruesome, horrible murder to humiliate the people and cause horror and grief. They have become monsters. And this video is so fucking evil. And what they did that day was so evil, I'm not even going to tell you, but it was so evil that it disturbed the people that were there getting attacked. Not because they were being murdered, and it was an act of war, but because of the way it was going on. It was like a whole lot of demons from hell just suddenly attacking Israel, murdering people with sort of demented glee from some kind of mutant. It's like a whole lot of fucking spiritual demons found their way up from hell into fucking where Hamas are and went inside their bodies and took over their fucking human bodies, mate. And that's what triggered this heavy response. It's because of the sheer evilness of it. And suddenly the games changed after that. And it's not about tick for tack or it's not diplomacy anymore. It's about emotional fucking disturbance. It's like we needed. It's like they feel a moral obligation to kill them all because they're like a scourge to humanity, right? And I reckon they've got a point. My gut's telling me Israel is fed up with the rest of the world not treating the whole thing as it is in reality. It's the distortions and lies and propaganda and the swaying to this and the effort gone into hoodwinking people to believe how it's going down is not a different way to how it really is. And we don't know what's true, what isn't these days, do we? With AI and stuff, and dishonest reporters and news stations, and it's just so much hoodwinking, lying, and conniving going on. It's just people just don't know what to think, do they? Everybody is confused. So these sort of topics that I'm talking about are too hard basket, right? And it's just you do your head and trying to work them out, right? So we don't try, okay? Am I kind of mentioning any points that maybe seem urgent but not dealt with? Because that's the feeling I'm getting that's the whole point of this talk, because I've been meaning to do it, and I wish, maybe I'll do another one the thing is, if I sit down and design this talk and write down points I should say and stuff like that, it'll be much more labelly, and then it'll imply truths that I'm not sure about. So for me to talk about it in a vague way, it's much more honest. I'm not pretending to be anything I'm not, right? Okay? I'm just some fucking guy who's looking at stuff at big picture, because that's all I'm really capable of. I'm an ex-fucking drug addict, and I've probably damaged my brain. Yeah? That's how honest I am. I don't care. I admit it. I'll be the first to admit it, because I value truth above all things, remember? And since I've done that, it's humbled me, man. And I had to do that. I had to be humbled just at rehab and fucking accept that I was an out-of-control drug addict. Hey, just to get better well. And, I didn't get well. It took me 4 years at rehab to get well. And I finally got well, and I realised I can't get well at rehab. I've got to do it on my own, because I don't agree with the whole thing. It's all corrupt. Even the Salvation Army was corrupt, mate. There was people that worked there were doing it for money. They were getting paid. They were getting subsidies from the government. They were getting extra bonuses for this and that, and there was sales reps going in there. They had agendas to adhere to. And the deeper you look into anything, you will find corruption and darkness. Okay, every truth seeker knows what I'm saying here. This is the disturbing thing about this world, and that's why everybody is quite happy to live their life on surface value. They put their mask on and then go out to the world, come back, take their mask off, and just snuggle up with somebody who loves them, and they forget about the rest of the world, okay? And then they create their own little family, which to me is horrific, because who are they to say that their children are going to be okay? One of them might turn out like me, fucking deep thinker, and then what are they going to do? Well, you know what? I think I'm better off than a lot of people, but it's taken me a hard yards, man. A lot of my friends didn't make it. Half of my friends are dead from overdoses or accidents. A lot of them went down the route of crime, and as soon as they did that, they're not my friend. Because I maintain my morals no matter how many drugs I took, mate. Which was unusual. So I lost a lot of friends that way. But then I lost a lot of friends who were they couldn't deal with their trauma, and they couldn't talk about it, and they didn't seem to value me enough to confide in me, because I'm probably the one friend they had that was safe, and I was never regarded like that. You know what? I've been underestimated and undervalued fucking underappreciated my whole fucking life. And it's from my family, from my fucking friends, from my teachers, from everybody, even society, and even myself. But then I used to feel like, oh, poor me for that. But then I realised, fuck, mate, I should be fucking grateful for only having that as an issue compared to what fucking a lot of people have. Most drug addicts have got far worse traumas than what I have. And I found that out when I was at rehab. Fucking hell. If you got no empathy, then you don't learn much at rehab, I tell you that. But if you've got a lot of empathy, like me, you learn a lot. Because you start fucking caring. That's what makes me so frustrated. If I can fucking do it with empathy, then what? My mum and anyone else has got no excuse. Fuck. Hey, it's not easy. It never was. But think of the poor people who are actually dealing with it. Think about the detectives who catch the horrible pedophile people that are even worse than that, who kill children and stuff. Somebody's got to deal with that, right? They've got to devote their life to that. They've got to study the crimes. It's disturbing. They need counselling before they even look at the fucking file. That's what that's the sort of horror we're dealing with in our own societies, right? And somebody does that. That's just one thing. Look at there's so many things. Underappreciated jobs, you know? What about I've lost a lot of friends to suicide as well. And some of them were not very pretty suicides, mate. And who are the people that go to the rocks and scrape the leftovers of the human being off the rocks? Okay? Who does that? Somebody's got to. Think of those poor fucking people. Does anybody think about them? How do they sleep at night? Hard. They're doing such a fucking valuable job. People don't want to think about that, let alone give somebody kudos for actually doing it for somebody. Because you see what I'm saying? There's some good bloody people out there far better than me. But no, they don't get any fucking kudos. They've got to live a quiet, hidden life because they can't talk about their job because it freaks everybody out. It disturbs people. What about them? They're disturbed. I bet it disturbs them. Do you think they're psychopaths, those sort of people? No way. They'll probably have heaps of... You know what? They've got more empathy than's good for them. But they have a higher... You know what's that thing? I bet you the way they can do these sort of jobs is because they believe in a higher cause than them. That's how people can do stuff, whether it's good or bad, but that's how they can deal with extreme things, by doing it in the name of a higher good, right? So if they believe that they're doing, because you know what, it'll give them a very solid sense of value. Because even if the general public aren't valuing them, you know who is? The people that employ them, the people who are running the whole society. How about a bit of fucking kudos for those people, right? Do we even know? I bet you didn't even know people like that existed. Well, I bet they do. I bet they fucking do. Somebody's got to coordinate all this stuff. Somebody's got to realise that if we don't keep these people happy, then who's going to scrape these people? Who's going to fucking do the cleanup, mate? Who's going to go and do that? So how do you keep them happy? You've got to fucking make sure they are appreciated, right? So how do you do that? Well, you need people to appreciate them. So it's a big network, right? I think the whole world should be a big network. We should all be fucking working together. But we can't, because the people, most people, 90% of us who are just Joe Blow, are too afraid. We can't work for our own fears. We can't deal with horrible things that trigger us, right? We don't want to look at all those horrible things because it makes us feel bad. We prefer to turn a blind eye, go and buy a horror of shit. That's another escape, is buying stuff, and that probably is the main one, because that's the one that's forced on us, right? And it keeps people fucking employed as well. So that's really what makes the world go around, is all the money, the trade, and that. And that's just a big fucking thing. The whole system it's just like a machine designed to keep us busy, so we don't fucking just self-explode, because we're so fucking flawed and complicated and emotional, and as soon as we start doing a little thing that's not so bad, you know how the snowball thing turns into a big problem? You know how true that is with every single thing there is? And how ridiculously apt what I just said then is with everything, because as soon as that's why they don't do it as well, because they're aware of that. Because people aren't, I'm not saying people are dumb, they're smart. I'm not saying they're just doing it because they're ignorant. They're doing it on purpose because they don't want to fucking freak out, mate. They are not. They might have trouble admitting that they're flawed because they don't want to appear, worse than the guy next to them. But that's normal. It's okay to be fucking flawed. But that's why I value truth, because it also inspires honesty. As soon as you admit all this stuff and you get real, and you actually get real, you realise you've got empathy and you are a good person, and you're not stupid, and you're not a scaredy cat, and you're prepared to put your big boy boots on and your big girl boots on. And if you do it together with supporting each other for the betterment and have a higher cause, I bet there's courses that teach you how to grow up. I'm finding that in my late 50s, I'm just starting to grow up. How about that? I don't think that I'm behind anybody already. I just think that if that doesn't happen in your late 50s, and it hasn't happened already, then it's probably never going to happen. And that might be a flaw, right? But I sort of see it. A lot of people my age, I actually notice it, because I can see the changes in them, and it seems to be a thing. And they didn't teach me that at school. If I was the boss of the whole world, things would be a bit different. For a start, we would learn a lot of different stuff at school, like how to deal with emotions at primary school, how to fucking look after people that fucking need looking after, okay? How to fucking find the best suited way forward for you despite anything. Yeah? You know what else I would like to do? Change the whole system so this is not about money. Not about money. I'd like to live in a big garden like hippies do, you know? But I'd like it more like Switzerland, so it's really well organised. And they look after everybody, including their sick people. And they treat drug addicts as fucking a medical thing. They look after them and they treat them with dignity. And as soon as you start doing that, guess what happens? No people living on the street, no crime goes down to just about zero, and a whole lot of diseases go out of fashion, and a whole lot of people start feeling good about each other as well. And also, a bit of evolution happens in the fucking human brain when they start realising that bloody drug addicts aren't lepers, hey? And they're just fucking human beings who have had trauma. 99% of drug addicts have had some serious trauma while they were a child, and that's why they are drug addicts, because they want to escape. And just going shopping, what my mum does, and going to concerts doesn't cut the mustard. They need strong drugs, and the only strong drugs are the illegal ones. And as soon as you take strong drugs, illegal drugs, mate, you get labelled with stigma, and you might as well just be a criminal. Throw them in jail. Look what they do in Philippines, is it? Or Cambodia or something. They go around shooting. They shoot them. And I think they do that in China. It's just disgusting. And that's just one little group. I only talk about that because that's my past. But there's heaps of little groups out there that get hard done by and treated like they're dirt. Hey, just abused by the rest of the society, and we just turn a blind eye to all of it, man. All of it. So I'm not saying I do it without even knowing I'm doing it, because I'm part of middle class white society in a well off white country. Yeah? So I can't help but be part of all of the madness and the horror and the fucking unfairness and that. And there's a lot of things I could be doing that I'm not fucking saying I'm great. Fuck, I've got a lot to answer for as well. I'm just saying that, I'm just suggesting that maybe I'm just throwing it in the air, I don't even know. I'm going to stop now before I take my whole even worse than this. I'm going to put this on YouTube though, just for ponders, because I'm not afraid.